happened then is those prayer mats were laid out in the morning and they were left there till night. That's the next change. The next change is the call to prayer. That never happened in the past. The call to prayer started happening right in the middle of Speaker's Corner, at top high volume, right in, irrespective of who else was standing there and speaking. That was another change. So I said, no, because I've got a lot more.
Okay,
so the precise location and volume and size of prayer changed. The prayer mats started being laid out, and then permanently, all day, every Sunday, right in the middle. Then we had the call to prayer regularly, right in the middle of Speaker's Corner. That's the first change. Then we had an increase in violence and an increase of threats and violence, and this is not a recent month's occurrence. This, as I say, is over the last 2 or 3 years. There are individuals, and you know who they are.
No, name
Sarah was issued, had the police knocking on his door, and he was issued with an Osman warning. And an Osman warning is that the police believed there is sufficient evidence to believe that there's an actual threat against your life. Sarah had that. Predated any of, I know, the stuff that you want to concentrate on. All of that predated that. And that wasn't the only scenario and the only individual. The increase in physical threats and actual violence over the last 2 years has increased significantly. Way before the DFLA came, or the vets came, or Tommy Robinson came, way before any of that, the violence and the intimidation and the attempts to control the narrative at Speaker's Corner, i.e. control who could come, what they could say. No, so for example, I've had a lot of it myself, physical and verbal. I have been called a hate preacher. I have been called a white supremacist simply for challenging Islam.
Free speech.
So if you scream and shout in someone's face,
heckling,
you're a racist. You're a Nazi. You're a white supremacist. That is being done for one reason only. I've never used that word. But that's what we're talking about at the moment. So keep up.
Threatening.
Don't go off on random tangents. Just keep up with what I'm saying.
No, you've just been so one-sided. Balance it out.
I'm giving you the chronology of what's happened.
Okay, go on.
So I've been called a white supremacist, a racist, and a hate preacher. That is being done for one sole reason: to control what is said here. Stop reading your fucking comments. Are you listening to me or what? How can you have a conversation with someone who's more worried about their fucking live stream?
1 minute, man.
You see the nonsense in Speaker's Corner?
I'm trying to switch it off.
Switch it off and then we'll carry on. And then I'll carry on.
There's discussions about it.
Because these people...
So is it not going your way, so you're going to actually turn it off?
This is recording, that is recording, so
but you've chosen to turn yours off.
Because I can't concentrate. Like, what did you just pull me up on?
Good.
Steve, man, come on,
so
calm down.
Therefore,
I'm just asking you a
one
question.
group, going back to the numbers of the prayer and the volume and tarpaulin spread out in the middle of Speaker's Corner, the call to prayer, then the bullying, then the intimidation, then people screaming and calling people hate preachers and calling them far right, simply for doing nothing more, nothing less than challenging your ideology.
Like they do.
You tell me, and
like
that's, and I, what do you mean like they do?
Like the people you're accusing of, what they're doing.
Like,
Same thing, challenging.
They're
challenging your points. They're challenging you. Same thing like the others. So one side can and the other side can't.
So I've given you just the chronology. And now, subsequent after and following everything I've just described, there have been some people that have come here because they've heard that radical Muslims have tried to physically overthrow Speaker's Corner. They've come in a reaction to that, and they've stood here to protect people who want their free speech, to protect them against the bullies, against the thugs. The number of, there are
Steve,
people, because I'm passionate about this. I'm passionate about this subject. I'm coming here for 18 years, and I'm not having one. And you're challenging me, and you're going to dispute what I'm saying.
So I don't have the right to dispute
what I'm saying.
So am I wrong in doing that? Are you actually trying to control the narrative? Are you trying to control my narrative now?
You are, but you should let him express himself.
Come on,
not
Steve.
telling me shake.
We're having a debate.
No, we're having no.
Listen to what Steve just said. Listen to what Steve just said.
No, let me get this straight.
No, I'm not going to listen.
I'm trying to speak to him. Let me speak to one person.
You're controlling the narrative.
No. He's trying to control mine. He's already saying what I'm going to say, how am I going to respond, which way I should respond. Do you understand? So I'm asking him a question. Number one, I'm having a discussion. No debate here. This
it's
is
not
a discussion.
because you're
Second, this is
challenging
Speaker's
him.
Corner.
So
I can
so I've
challenge
just
your.
given you a chronology.
I'm just challenging you.
Are you going to challenge me on the chronology
I
and the
am.
fact?
This is Speaker's
Go
Corner.
ahead.
Of
Go
course I
ahead.
am.
Go
Of course
ahead.
I-
What
First
have I
of
just
all,
said that's
that's why I said there. Let me.
What have I just said that's
let me
factually
pull up
incorrect?
one second.
First?
If you let me
What have I
speak,
just said
if
that's
you let me
factually
speak, that's why I
incorrect?
said let me respond to one item at a time off the list.
Of what I just said.
Yes. So first of all, what is the issue? Like making Speaker's Corner bad by people praying over there in the corner.
It's
Explain
against
to
the
me.
park rules.
It's for starters.
All right. Okay.
For starters.
Okay. One second.
A long-lasting law.
Okay. Let me respond.
Not a new rule.
Okay. Yes.
Not a new rule.
said
You asked me a question. I'm now answering.
Okay,
You
against
said
the
what
law.
is wrong with people praying collectively in the middle of the
Just told
park?
you, park
A,
rules.
it is against park rules.
Policies. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's against. Why are you watching my hand?
Okay. One second.
It is against park rules.
Why am I watching
Is
your
that not
hands?
sufficient? Is that
What
not
the
sufficient?
hell are you on about, Steve? What's wrong if I
Is
watch
that
your
not
hands?
sufficient? for
Okay, one
starters?
second, one second.
So that's the first issue.
Do you want to
with it. You
respond?
asked me a question. Let me answer it. It's not going to be a
It
second
wasn't
answer.
like a question, man. I'm just,
It was a
point. I was
question.
trying to point.
You said what's wrong with it? You
give
said
you a point.
firstly what is wrong with people.
Okay. Now
praying.
let me answer that. Now the rules.
No, it was a question
We've been
from you
told.
to me.
Okay, one second. Now the rules. We
You
found
have no
out.
idea how to debate, do you?
I'm not debating. No, I don't know. How to
What
debate.
is
I'm
this?
just having a discussion with you.
It's a debate,
And you already
discussion,
got your
whatever
guard
you
up.
call it.
You already got your guard up because you know.
Have
You
I?
know.
What do I know?
Look at your reaction. You can tell
You-
you're not being
you're
sincere.
supposed to-
You're not being sincere, Steve. You
I
are not being
presented a
sincere.
chronology to
You
you.
start trying to control
I-
my narrative, and when I use the
Grow
same
up.
logic back on you, you don't
Grow
like
up.
it. Look at you. Grow up. What's the do grow up about?
You're not going to get away
You're not-
with
you
the
can't even
immaturity
take-
that you tried to use
Steve,
against Raj.
I
with
am
me.
not.
We
Oh
have
my
to.
God.
We have to
Steve,
concentrate.
I'm trying to have an
on
honest
facts.
discussion with you.
Concentrate on
Against the
facts.
Why don't you?
Pray in the park. End of subject.
Yes,
Thank you.
I agree.
And I thought
Wait.
Muslims are
Will you let me
taught
finish?
to respect the rules
Yes.
of where they are.
If you let
Are
me-
Muslims not taught
If
to
you let me
respect
respond,
the rules
if you let me respond,
and the
I will
laws
answer.
of where
Let
they
me
are?
respond.
So you disagree with that
Let me
Muslim law?
respond.
Jews can't
If
come
you
here
if you
and even have
be
to
quiet for
work.
1 second.
Going back to your question
If
of
you be
what's
quiet
wrong
for
with
1
Muslims
second, I will
praying
respond.
over there?
Now we know the rules. People are not going to pray now, okay?
You just said what's wrong with Muslims doing
I asked you generally.
Why did you just
It's not.
say?
How is that making Speaker's Corner bad?
against
That's what I
the-
want to know. How is
Two
it got to do with
reasons.
violence?
Ian gave you one, it's against the rules. Secondly,
Okay.
this is not a
One
fucking
second,
mosque.
one
It's
second,
It's
one-
Speaker's
Calm
Corner.
down. Steve.
It's not for prayer.
Calm down. Calm
Do you
down.
not get it?
Steve, calm down.
I'm not
Why-
calm
why
because
can't you ever-
I'm incensed
Why
by your
can't you ever respect-
stupidity.
Why can't you even respect the discussion?
How can you say the home of free speech, which has
I'm
been
not
going
gonna
on for
I'm gonna
200
remain calm. I'm not going to
which has
react
been
like
go-
you, man.
which
I'm
has
not going
been
to react
going
like
for
you. You show yourself up. You show yourself
250
up.
years, and
Steve,
you
you threw a
say,
paper.
what is the
I know,
problem
man,
with
I know.
100 Muslims
1 second.
praying in the middle
If you
of
want to
it?
know my
You don't
answer,
get
then
that.
stay quiet.
You don't get
Yes,
that.
I agree.
It's against the rules.
not debating
And
the
how
rules.
does
Will
it
you let me
enable?
speak?
How does
Will
it
you let me
enable?
speak?
Add support.
The bylaw has been
Be
made.
positive towards free speech when there's a group of one ideology taking up the space with their tarpaulins laid out
Breaking
for
the
the
law,
full
breaking the
day,
rules,
breaking the rules and having 100 people pray in the middle
abide by the
of
law,
Speaker's
don't you?
Corner.
See?
How is that conducive to Speaker's Corner?
1 second. Now let me answer. Now we know the rules.
Right.
They're not going to pray now.
Really?
I agree.
What,
You shouldn't
what
be
were
breaking the
40
rules.
people doing behind Bilal
1
3
second,
weeks
1
ago?
second, 1 second.
40 people were on their
Was you
knees
counting?
in front of
I don't believe you.
Bilal.
I don't believe you. There's 40. Sorry.
Muslims have
No,
told
no,
me
no,
it was
I don't
more.
believe it. No, no,
Muslims have told me
I
it
don't
was
believe it.
more.
I don't believe it.
It's
I
on
don't believe the
video
numbers.
again.
I don't believe it. Sorry,
It's
I
on
don't believe it.
video.
No, I don't believe the numbers.
You
Now-
need to follow me on Twitter
one
because
second.
I tweet
One
all
second.
this shit.
Okay, hold on a second, yeah?
Follow me on Twitter.
Now,
I
if
tweeted
there-
a photo
if
of it.
there are certain
Because
people-
I was incensed because Bilal was leading that prayer.
So,
Can
now
you
what-
believe
what-
it?
what-
Bilal was
so-
leading 40
so those
Muslims
group of
praying.
Muslims, those group of
And
Muslims
you
who
tell
are
me
praying,
to calm down.
those group of Muslims who are praying,
An active Anjem
it was-
Chowdhury
hold on a
supporter
second.
was leading 40
They were
Muslims
doing some sort of
praying
protesting, okay? Far as I know, I don't
behind
know.
Bilal.
That's up to them. I can't answer for every single Muslim.
I've asked Muslims so
I'm
many
telling
times.
you,
How do you decide who leads the prayer?
My main question is
And
to
they've
you,
told me it's
how
the most
hell
knowledgeable
Muslims are
on
trying to
Islam.
shut down other people's narrative, control the narrative. I want evidence of that. That's my main
I
issue with
gave you a whole
No,
chronology.
no.
there.
By praying, that's
You've
bull.
now understood-
Sorry, by praying, and now the Muslims have been told that they're not allowed to pray over there. Okay, no problem. It's not a big deal for me. We can pray in the mosque. We can pray with
they're
two or
still
three people
doing
over
it.
there.
They do
Then
it at
that's on
every
them.
opportunity.
Now that's on the Muslims. Like, you know the way you talk. It's like all of us.
Yeah, but no Muslim stopped them.
40. No, I didn't
Brother,
say
I'm
all.
trying
I
to talk
said
to him. Let me speak to
40.
him. We can have a word afterwards.
I didn't say all. I
It's
said
difficult to
about
have three
40.
people.
I didn't say all. I said about 40.
So there you go. Like, you exaggerate. That's my point.
No, I
You
said
exaggerate.
40.
No.
Muslims have told me it was more.
Muslims.
Bilal told me it was more. I probably shouldn't believe a word he said.
Look, okay. Now put the prayer things aside now. because we've been told majority of the Muslims don't pray there. We pray over there. outside where we are allowed. Even though I don't see people just by praying over there, it harms you. Now I understand if you're blocking. Number one, the rules, I get that. Number two, if
Why didn't you get that before? Why didn't you get that
because we
before?
didn't know about the rules. Okay? Secondly, yeah.
Before March.
Now, if people are blocking, even if it was the rules, even if like we were allowed to pray here, if people are blocking pathways.
It's only blocking
Hold on a
pathways.
second.
That's your only concern.
Oh my,
blocking
Steve, will you
a
let me
pathway.
speak? Why are you getting so like defensive?
Am I
Why
not
don't you let me
calm?
like? No, you're not calm. Of course you're not calm. You're not. You're not even
course.
sincere because
course.
you already got
How
your
am I
guard
not
up.
sincere?
Because you tried to control my narrative already. Because you know I'm
Why
going to
don't
start
you just
defending
use
you.
the same words that I've used?
Is that your words?
Yes,
Did
yes,
you make
they're
them up yourself?
precisely the words
Yes?
that I've used
So what?
5 minutes
so what?
ago.
So what? Why are you acting so childish? This is
Think of your
childish.
own.
Raj,
Think of
these are
your
childish.
own.
I'm sorry.
Right, he calls me Raj.
Because you remind
There's
me of
my
him now.
point.
Did
I
you
think
remind
I'll
him?
go now. I think
Really?
I'll
You
go
want to run
now.
away?
With all
You want to
I'm
run
not
away?
running away.
Yes, you are. You are running away, Steve.
You are such a child.
You're shouting.
You're a child.
You can call
You're
me
saying I'm
names.
running away.
Steve, I'm not
That's
actually,
your level
Steve,
of
I'm trying to have a
sincerity.
genuine discussion with you. I'm not trying to actually have
Call
a.
me Raj, which
I'm not,
said it all.
It was an
really.
accident. Slip of a tongue.
Because you're obsessed with him.
Oh my God.
Are you not?
No, I'm not obsessed.
Yes, you are. Like he's obsessed with you. You both need to get over yourselves.
Okay.
Seriously,
I
you
have-
know I'm right on that.
No, not 100%.
You need to get over
Okay,
Raj.
okay, I need to get
Forget
over it. No
it.
problem.
Forget
Let's
it.
stick to the point.
You're not coming across very well.
Steve, let's calm down a second, yeah? Be sincere. I'm just honestly trying to get.
I gave you the
Because
absolute
a lot of people,
sincere
listen to me,
chronology of events
a
here
lot
at
of people
Speaker's
will say,
Corner.
why am I even talking to you regarding this? Because it's not even
You're
no
performing
point.
for the cameras.
No
by
point.
saying
The
that,
reason
aren't
I'm
you?
talking to
You're
you
saying
is-
that for the cameras.
What?
Can we have a
Stop
conversation?
trying to read
as
by
if-
what's in mind
as
there.
If, because it's very easy.
Okay? No.
And I can't
Stop
help
trying to
doing
read my
it.
mind because
It's
you
kind of my
can't.
job,
Okay, you
so.
can't. It's not.
Can we have
No.
a
Listen to
conversation
me.
without the
I'm
cameras?
trying to
Can we
have.
turn-
I'm
Should we
trying-
turn the cameras off? and
It's up to you.
continue?
It's up to you. Do it.
Well, it's
Switch it off.
up to them,
Turn
isn't
it
it?
all
It's not up to me.
Switch it off.
Turn it all
Well, we
Switch it
could
off.
walk
I'm not
away.
recording this. I switched mine off. So why are you telling me to switch other people's cameras off? So it's not in my hand. Okay, I'm not recording it. Anyway, because all you're trying to do is
Carry on,
make
guys,
me like forget
Am I
my points.
confusing you?
Steve,
Oh, it's my
I'm not
fault.
having a
I didn't
debate
mean
with
to.
you. I'm not having a
Why do
debate
you
with
keep
you.
saying that? I'm not having a debate.
I'm
What
trying to
are
have
you
a discussion
having?
with you,
What's
and
the
I am
difference?
confronting
What's the
you
difference?
on some of the stuff that you come out with.
What's the difference between a debate
Now,
and a
about this
discussion?
praying thing, I told you, yeah, since we found out about the rules, majority of the people are not praying. Now, if there's a certain people who don't watch YouTube, don't know the rules, who would pray, and there's certain people who will defy the law or the policy of they will pray because they're
the
arrogant,
40
call
that
it whatever.
lined up
I'm not
behind
talking about that.
Bilal.
I'm talking about you're saying Muslims are taking over the park.
Just on a quick
In
point.
what way
just on a
are they
quick
taking
point.
over the
Can
park
you
and
agree
controlling
with-
the narrative? That's what I want to know.
Can you, on a quick point, it's a quite quick side
Go on.
point. Can you agree with me that it was pretty damn appalling to see any number of Muslims praying behind Bilal?
I'm going to reserve my judgment. I can't. Sorry, no comment.
Oh, come
No
on.
comment.
Are you a man or boy?
Okay, I'm going to
Are
answer.
you a man
Hold on
or
a second.
boy?
Hold on a second. I do not agree with breaking any rules policy. That's
I'm not on about that.
Okay,
My
I'm gonna
precise
answer by
point was
myself.
the fact that it was behind Bilal.
I don't agree with anyone breaking any rules.
That's not my question or my point. My
question
point
was
is
where you- I'm not gonna-
precisely about
I'm
Bilal
not gonna talk about
leading
that.
prayer.
I'm not gonna talk
Why
about
not?
We know
Because I don't know
Bilal
what's his heart. I don't know him properly.
You don't know him properly.
No, I'm not going to condemn him just like that.
And there's the problem with Islam, because that is an Islamic issue. You're not
No,
supposed to
that's me.
criticise your Islamic brothers.
If
are
the
you?
truth goes
you're not
against-
allowed to
Hold on a second.
criticise your Islamic
If the
brothers.
truth
We
goes
hear this
against
all
you,
the
you
time,
should stand
which
up.
is why you all treated
Do you wanna
Paul.
know what Islam
which is
says?
why you treated Paul Williams
your
the way
problem.
you treated Paul Williams, because he had the balls to speak out against
Steve, let's
these
talk
radical
about this.
numpties.
Let's not go all over
And
the place.
you
Because,
all
Steve, look,
completely mistreated
you have
Paul
a
Williams
you have an agenda.
because he spoke out
Steve,
against
you have
the
an agenda,
radicals.
Steve. You have an agenda, okay? Your
I'm
hatred,
appalled
your
that you
hatred,
can't speak
your
out
hatred.
against Bilal.
No, I'm giving you my opinion. I'm not going to speak out about Bilal because I don't
you're
know
a
him too
coward.
much. I don't
You're a
know.
coward.
Whatever. That's up to you.
You can't speak out against a
Why
known
should I? What has he done?